Hi guys, welcome back to the Totally Magic channel here at YouTube. Got a great trick for you. In fact, we got two performances of the same trick today, as well as the tutorial, but more about that in just a moment. On with the trick. This one is called Future View. Now, before I got here today, I had a bit of a premonition of something that was going to happen in the future. And to make sure that I didn't change my mind, I made a bit of a receipt in the form of a playing card. Here is my premonition. It's a playing card. You'll notice I've deliberately chosen a different coloured back to the cards we're going to use in a moment. That way I can't swap it out with another one. I've made my mind, I'm committed. Now, just to prove that I don't change my mind, I'm going to show your friends either side the card that I've got. So if I show you over here, you have a look at that, and you guys over here, you look at that as well, but you don't get to see it, only the back. Now I'm going to put that in full view throughout the trick. Now on with the deck. I want you to take those cards, give them a shuffle. Now the spectator really does give these a genuine shuffle. Now while you're shuffling these, there's 52 playing cards in any pack of cards. I want you just to pluck out of thin air any number you like, remembering that you're going to have to deal this number of cards. 12 is the number you want. Okay, are you happy with the shuffle? Yeah. Now I don't want to touch the cards. All I want you to do is, now you've shuffled them, I'm going to hold my hand out and I want you to deal upon my hand 12 cards and stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The 12th card here. Remember my premonition here, which has been in full view all along. We won't change that at all. Just give me the cards you're holding. Did you take a look at them? You didn't. Well, let's show you them now. They are just a regular deck of cards, as you can see. Now, there's my premonition, which your friends have seen. Here's the card in the 12th position that you dealt to, and the other cards, just to prove that they are just all regular. There is everything in front of us. Now the card that I thought of earlier today, here's my receipt, my proof, the Jack of Clubs. What I don't quite get is how you, not knowing that, picked a random number, 12, you shuffled the deck, you dealt them to the 12th card, and that card just happens to be a perfect match. Welcome to Future View, a totally impromptu variation. If I can ask you to shuffle those cards thoroughly, 52 cards, give them a shuffle. The spectator will mix the cards up. Are you happy with that shuffle? Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is, did you take a look at the cards? You didn't. You can see that they're all shuffled and are regular. Now, what I'm going to do is to make a premonition. I'm going to remove one card from the pack, just a single card from the pack. This is going to be my premonition. Now, what I'm going to do is to show the audience either side of you the card. Now, you guys, I want you to remember the colour of that card, just the colour. You guys over here, I want you to remember the value only, the value of the card. Now, in case you think, well, maybe I might swap it out, well, I can't do that because we've now got the whole audience in on the act. But what I am going to do is to sign the back of this card like that. That way it cannot be swapped out, changed with any other card. I'm now committed to this single playing card. And I'm going to leave it in full view throughout. Now, in case you think while I was picking my premonition card, I was studying the order of the cards, can you take them and shuffle them again? The spectator will shuffle the pack. Are you happy with that? Keep hold of them. I don't want to touch them. I want you to give me a number between 1 and 52. Now, 11. Can you deal 11 cards onto my hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Happy with that? So the 11th card is here. Remember, we can tell this apart from my premonition, which has been in my pocket all along, because it's got my signature on there and I can't do anything with that. By the way, just have a look at the cards to prove that they are in a shuffled order, because you did that. But the thing is that I showed your friends this card. This is the 11th card that you stopped at, that you shuffled to. By the way, and the other cards are totally mixed up as well. You can examine these at the end. Remember my premonition. Can the guys over here tell me what was the value of the card? A 9. And you guys, what colour was it? Red. So it was a red 9. My premonition was a red 9. Just to prove it, the red 9. The amazing thing is, despite you shuffling the cards, handling all the cards, picking a number 11, what I don't understand is how this could possibly have happened unless it was magic. The red 9. And that is a perfect future view premonition. I hope you enjoyed this particular trick, both variations, and I'll leave it up to you to decide which one you prefer the best. I prefer the first one, but sometimes I do realise that you have to perform a trick impromptu using just one deck of cards. So you need, let's deal with the first presentation to begin with. You need a single red-backed card. Just grab any card from a deck of cards. Then you take a blue deck and you go through and you look for the duplicate card. So you look for the other card from the blue deck. Now what you're going to do is to place this blue backed one in front of the red backed one, like this. Now on previous performances that I've done on the channel, I often use double-sided tape or rough and smooth or wax to stop these from slipping apart. Trust me, you don't need it, because you're dealing with just one card. You have to handle this as one card. So remember, when you're handling the card, I wouldn't pinch it here because there's a chance that your fingers may move. You always want to hold it either like this, where my fingers are holding the side and this finger here is holding the back. So no matter what I do, it all stays together perfectly in line. Now this starts life in my pocket like this. When I bring this out, I bring the card out straight into my hand so I can square it up. I can then show the audience this, not the spectator that's helping me. Now obviously, if you've only got one spectator, there's no one else in the room, then you could show them the card if you want and say, this will influence your choice. I prefer it if there's a crowd of people to actually show this side of the audience and then turn it around and show this side of the audience. What you're telling people is that you can't change your mind, you're committed. But you are committed anyway with the receipt, because it's got a different coloured back to the rest of the deck. I then place this in my pocket. Now, sometimes I will put it back in the pocket. But if you're confident, if you've got a good stiff pocket, you find a lot of the tops now, if they're a bit loose to pocket, you probably won't get the card to stay there, but this is a proper shirt, so this stays perfectly against there. I push it against there and down here. That way it keeps 2 cards perfectly aligned in the pocket. Then we get to the cards. Remember, apart from 1 Jack of Clubs missing from here, it is a regular deck of cards. You give the spectator those, they shuffle them. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole performance, because if you watch the first performance, you'll see how it was done. Now you know the secret. So they shuffled the cards, they gave a number, they deal onto your hand. And there's a reason why I get them to deal onto the hand rather than the table, because then it's more natural that when they've counted to their card, I push it across just to say this is the card. I then bring it back. I then grab this here. Now you can grab this in case it misaligns. You can grab this as you push this forward as though you're going to show their card, and then pull it back and say, remember my card here. Oh, did you look at the other cards? Now at this point, I'm diverting the attention away from the fact that I've placed my card on the pack, because most people would say, why don't you just pull it out and show it? I'm putting it there in the pretense of me saying, oh, did you look at the rest of the cards? They are just a regular deck. I then deal this. What I've done, I've got the 2 cards from my pocket and placed it on there. We place this down on the table. We take their card that they dealt to. The other cards you can just turn over and spread to look at those. Attention is returned back to these, and it's just a case of revealing a perfect match. It's a great little trick. Again, I know I've done this before with double-sided tape to stop them from slipping, but trust me, keeping them perfectly aligned is very easy. So the second version works exactly the same, but it's an impromptu version. Now, I'm going to get rid of these cards because I'm going to write on the back of these are not a full deck, just because these are my, what I call my scrap deck. Do you know, magicians always have old decks of cards lying around for practicing with. This is one such deck. So humour me and pretend that we've got 52 cards here. All you do is you get a spectator to shuffle the cards. When you take them back and say, did you look at them? All I'm doing is I'm noting this top card. It's the Black Queen. I then go through and I've found the other Queen here. And I go through, show the cards, and I say, look, I'm going to make a prediction. What I do is I pull out that Queen there. So what you're doing here, your premonition card is going to match whatever card they've shuffled to the top of the deck here. So I pull this out and I put it on top and say, this is my premonition. I go forward with it. As I go forward with it, I'm going to push these cards, this top card, the other Queen, forward, and then get a break. Okay, so I've now got a break here. I come back with the card and I say, to prove that I'm not going to swap it out, let me just sign this. And I can then just sign it like that and ruin a perfectly good deck of cards. But it's worth it, I think. Now I've got 2 cards as one, because I've got that break. I've signed it. You blow on it, on there. I then put it in my pocket. Oh, by the way, before we do this, when I took out my prediction card, I do exactly the same as I did on the first performance. I show the audience over here, but to make it a little bit more interesting, I say to them, remember the colour. And there's a reason why I'm saying this, as you'll pick up in a moment. Remember the colour. I then turn to the other side of the audience and say, remember the value. Okay? So they're thinking of black, they're thinking of the Queen. Nothing about the suit. Anyway, back to the stage we're at. So now we've got this, I'm then going to do the same as before. I pinch this to keep it together and I put this in my pocket like this. Now I want to take the heat from this, so I just say, in case you think I studied the cards, can you shuffle them again? They shuffle the cards, they give a number, they deal onto your hand and they stop. Once again, you go into here, you say, remember my premonition, here, the one that I signed. Did you see that the cards are thoroughly mixed up? You could have had any of these. This is the one you went for, number 13 or whatever. Also, these are just regular. The trick's done. It's a big build up. You then say, do you remember my card here, my premonition? Now, can you guys remember the colour? Black. And it was a queen. So it was a black queen. Now, the reason we're doing this is because it's not a perfect match, because it's from one deck of cards. All we're interested is the sibling of that card. Okay, if they picked a red 10, then it's a red 10, not the 10 of hearts or the 10 of diamonds. So, and I say, you're absolutely right. My premonition was a black queen. I never mentioned the suit. What I don't understand, in the 13th position, how you could have known that you too would arrive at the black queen in the pack. Everything can be examined. So 2 variations of the trick. I do like the impromptu one, but it does ruin a card because I do feel you need to sign this. Okay, whereas on the first version we didn't need to sign any card because it was obvious it was my prediction card, because it was the opposite colour to the rest of the playing cards. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, hit subscribe, like, share. Till next time, take care.